Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Public Accounts Committee of Parliament calls RBI Governor Urjit Patel and top finance ministry officials on January 20th, has the option to call Prime Minister Narendra Modi on demonetisation. Samajwadi Party faction submit claims for party symbol. Mulayam Singh Yadav insists that he's the national president. Akhilesh tells supporters that he will win the UP election on his own. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh releases Congress manifesto for Punjab Assembly polls in New Delhi. Promises include loan waiver and free power to farmers and stopping drug trade within a month. And China warns US President-elect Donald Trump of revenge if it goes back on the One China policy. Remarks come just hours after Taiwan's president makes controversial stopover in Houston. Well, President Pranab Mukherjee is addressing the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Let's cut across live to that.
Which is a collection of the speeches of Prime Minister of 2014 and 2015 in regard to the foreign policies of the country. These speeches are just not enunciation and reiteration of the unique policies of India in respect of international understanding, global cooperation, dispute resolutions, and move towards peace, disarmament, development, and environmental protection. These statements contain an emerging India, an India which is moving ahead, keeping behind its baggage and burdens, which is looking with the world with optimism, confidence, and the belief that the world belongs to them. They are not outsiders, but they are insiders. This new image of emerging India is reflected in the speeches of the Prime Minister. I am grateful that you have brought it out on this occasion, which will help the readers, researchers, and academies to understand India's perspective in the new context. I am confident the achievement of yours, my Pravasi friends, both in your place of origin and your connect with the nation which you have adapted, have been strengthened through your participation in the Pravasi Bharatiya Convention. I once again exhort all of you present here to become a part of the developing, evolving Indian story, which is really fantastic, as it is the story of 1.3 billion people. It is the story of great diversity and also underlying unity amongst this diversity, with 200 daily languages used, 1,600 dialects, 7 religions, 3 ethnic groups, yet living under one system, one constitution, one flag, perhaps the singular example of unity amidst diversity. The story of this unfolding India with this diversity is a fantastic story. I urge upon you to take full part in you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I also wish you a very happy, prosperous New Year for all of you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
Well, you can catch the entire speech of the President later tonight right here on Rajya Sabha television. Moving on now, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament can call Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the issue of demonetisation in case it is not satisfied with the answers given by the top finance ministry officials and RBI Governor Urjit Patel. Patel has been sent a detailed questionnaire on the matter. A PAC meeting on the issue has been called on January 20th. RBI Governor Urjit Patel, Finance Secretary Ashok Lavasa and Economic Affairs Secretary Shantikanta Das will be present at the meeting. In the questionnaire sent to the RBI Chief and top Finance Ministry officials, the PAC has raised questions on all aspects of demonetisation.
The meeting will be held. The witnesses will be heard in 20th of January, and after hearing the governor and the officers, the committee will take appropriate decision. And if more experts have to be heard, that will also be heard. Then unanimously the committee will prepare a report and present to the Parliament.
Moving on now, Mulayam Singh Yadav today met Election Commission officials in Delhi to stake claim to the Samajwadi Party symbol cycle. A short while later, Akhilesh Yadav camp member Ram Gopal Yadav also met the Election Commission to press his faction's case for the symbol. Mulayam Singh claimed that he had no dispute with his son and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. Targeting his cousin Ram Gopal Yadav, he claimed that the problem in the party was being created by one person. Ram Gopal Yadav has ruled out any truce. He said that the majority was with Akhilesh Yadav. On Sunday, Mulayam Singh insisted that he continued to be the national president while Akhilesh Yadav is the chief minister. He asserted that the meeting that saw his son being named party president was illegal as it was called by Ram Gopal Yadav, who was expelled a day before from the Samajwadi Party. Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav met party leaders at his residence today. Amid the intense power tussle, he assured his camp of supporters that they will win the elections on their own.
Hectic political activity at Akhilesh Yadav's official residence in Lucknow. The Chief Minister first met his party MLAs. This was followed by another meeting with party strategists. Akhilesh told his supporters that his camp will win this election, which will be a gift for his father and party patriarch Mulayam Singh Yadav.
और बार-बार उन्होंने कहा कि जब इस तरह की साजिश हो रही है, मेरे पिताजी के साथ भी साजिश है, तो हमें ये अप्रिय कदम उठाना पड़ रहा है. और मैं सिर्फ उन्होंने भाई स्वेर इस बात को कहा हम लोगों के बीच में कि हम सिर्फ 3 महीने के लिए केवल और केवल 3 महीने के लिए अध्यक्ष हूँ.
The Election Commission is likely to deliver its verdict on which faction gets to keep the symbol. It also has the option to freeze the symbol. The Congress is keeping a close watch on the developments amid reports of a probable alliance.
ये उनकी अपनी पार्टी का मामला था, अपने परिवार का मामला था, जो निकल कर चुनाव आयोग चला गया है. ये चुनाव आयोग तय करेगा. कांग्रेस को इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. कांग्रेस पिछले 1 से 1.5 साल से इस उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर विधानसभा के चुनाव की तैयारी कर रही है. कांग्रेस अकेले लड़ेगी और उत्तर प्रदेश में सरकार बनाने के लिए लड़ेगी, चाहे साइकिल चुनाव चिन्ह मुख्यमंत्री जी को मिले या पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष को मिले. कांग्रेस को अपनी चुनाव की तैयारी में उससे कोई फर्क पड़ने वाला नहीं है.
In case the Election Commission freezes the symbol, both factions will have to fight the assembly elections on a new one. With the election process already underway, the Akhilesh camp will have a huge task on its hands to familiarize his voters with the new symbol.
Akhilesh's government must have lured the headlines by landing a fighter jet on the Lucknow-Agra expressway. But to traverse the caste-ridden maze of UP politics, cycle seems to be the best option. Akhilesh's supporters say that they'll go to the polls with his clean image. But it is easier said than done. Reporting from Lucknow, with camera person Shiv Kumar, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, joining me for a chat right now is our correspondent Kriti Mishra live from Lucknow. Well, Kriti, as your report just pointed out, of course, we understand that Akhilesh Yadav has met his supporters at his residence earlier today. What was the message that he sent out really to the party workers and his supporters?
Well, Frank, I must say that the Samajwadi Party saga is getting convoluted with each passing day. On one hand, the father says that there's no problem with the son. The son, on the other hand, says that this victory has to be for my father. I'm going to present it on his feet. I just want to be the party president for 3 months just to cleanse the party. On the other hand, there are hectic brainstorming sessions at 5 KD Marg, which is the official residence of the chief minister. He's very meticulously crafting his poll strategy. In fact, the entire camp is deliberating that if they do not get the party symbol, then they'll have to heavily rely upon the social media, upon WhatsApp, upon Facebook, just to communicate to the voters. On the hindsight, Frank, I met few party insiders today, and they told me that the stalemate would get resolved in a day or two. So it remains to be seen whether the logjam persists or they put up a united front. Frank?
Indeed, of course, it remains to be seen whether the logjam persists or Samajwadi Party, the father-son duo, puts up a united front. But, you know, who's really spearheading the meetings as such? Is there any kind of a meeting taking place between the Akhilesh Yadav camp and the Mulayam Singh Yadav camp to ensure that some kind of a consensus is reached?
Well, Azam Khan keeps vacillating from Mulayam to Akhilesh. Rajendra Chaudhary keeps oscillating from Mulayam to Akhilesh. They talk about some kind of compromise formula. They've been talking about some kind of truce for over a week now. But we didn't see anything come through. So it remains to be seen how the entire Samajwadi Party is going to approach the upcoming elections. Because remember, on 10th of January, it's going to be the election notification. So it's a highly debatable issue right now that what would happen in the Samajwadi Party. Frank?
Indeed, and as far as the party symbol is concerned, you've seen that, you know, members of both camps and in fact the father and son themselves are trying to ensure that each of them gets the party symbol of the cycle. So any clarity on what's happening on that front and when it will be clear, when the Election Commission will make it clear as to who gets the symbol?
Well, there's going to be a cumbersome process for the Election Commission, but as far as experts are concerned, they tell us that Election Commission would follow the convention, and in all likelihood, the Election Commission may freeze the symbol, give them ad hoc name, give them interim symbol. So both the factions are preparing for that eventuality that they have to go to the polls with a new name, with a new symbol. Frank?
All right, Kriti Mishra, we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us there with those details and bringing us the latest as far as the Samajwadi Party saga in Uttar Pradesh goes. Moving on now, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh released his party's manifesto for the Punjab Assembly elections on Monday. The many promises include crackdown on the drug problem, employment for the youth and even free books for all children. Although the manifesto did not touch upon the SYL Canal issue, it did make a reference that said that Punjab's water was for the state.
The Congress party released its manifesto for the Punjab Assembly polls in New Delhi on Monday. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh released the Congress manifesto promising SOPs for all sections.
This election manifesto is a forward-looking, visionary document which promises the people of Punjab that we will undo the damage that was done to the Punjab economy by the previous government in the last 10 years.
The manifesto promises loan waiver and free power to farmers, wiping out the drug trade within a month, stipend of 2,500 rupees per month to unemployed youth, free smart mobile phones to youth and free textbooks to all children. The party also promises to generate as many as 25 lakh jobs within the next 5 years to provide employment to all youth in the state. The manifesto also promises to bring a new industrial policy within 90 days, besides promising an end to the VIP culture, bringing sweeping economic reforms and total transparency in governance. Free houses to homeless Dalits, SCs and OBCs have also been promised. Expressing confidence that his party will win the polls, Punjab Congress chief Captain Amrinder Singh promised to restore all that the state has lost over the years.
We have covered every facet of Punjab, and we have in it to every walk of, and people from all walks of life, all castes, all communities, all poor, all industrial development, all agriculture, all everything. हर प्रकार से हमने सबको cover किया है.
Punjab will vote for its next government on February 4th. The BJP Akali Dal combine has been in power for 10 years now, but this time it is a triangular contest between the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP Akali Dal combine. Pranab Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, 3 labourers of the General Reserve Engineer Force were killed by terrorists in Akhnur sector of Jammu and Kashmir today. An unknown number of terrorists attacked the camp at around 1:15 a.m. The army has cordoned off the entire area after they rescued GREF personnel and other labourers present in the area. The exact number of terrorists is not known yet. Terrorists may have infiltrated from across the border to carry out the terror attack. Jammu district is under high alert. Schools and colleges in Akhnur subdivision have been closed in the wake of the attack. The government claims that the terrorists came from Pakistan. Union Minister of State Jitendra Singh said evidence shows that the perpetrators originated from Pakistani soil. The GREF is the parent cadre force of the Border Roads organization that maintains border roads in the country.
As per the inputs which are available with us right now, 3 casual laborers have attained martyrdom, and one of the casual laborers is injured. The army is conducting its operations. They have cordoned off the entire area, and all the GREF personnel and the other casual civil labor who are there in that camp, in that platoon location, are all safe.
Moving on down to some international news, where China has warned US President-elect Donald Trump that it will take revenge if he reneged on the One China policy. State-run Chinese tabloid Global Times issued the warning just hours after Taiwan's president made a controversial stopover in Houston. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen was en route to Central America, where she will visit Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala and El Salvador. She will again make a stopover on January 13th in San Francisco on her way back to Taiwan. Beijing had asked Washington not to allow Tsai to enter the United States, and that she does not have any formal government meetings under the One China policy. Trump triggered protests from Beijing last month by accepting a congratulatory telephonic call from Tsai and questioning Washington's commitment to China's position that Taiwan is part of One China.
我愿在此重申，我们坚决反对台湾地区领导人利用所谓的过境之机，与美方的官方人士进行任何形式的接触，并从事干扰和破坏中美关系的活动。我们再次敦促美方及有关人士恪守一个中国的政策和中美3个联合公报原则，妥善处理涉台问题，以免损害中美关系大局和台湾海峡的和平。
Well, actor Meryl Streep turned a Golden Globe acceptance speech into a scathing attack on US President-elect Donald Trump on Sunday night. In a heartfelt speech, she referred to a 2015 incident at a South Carolina rally when Trump mocked a disabled reporter of the New York Times reporter. While Streep did not name Trump directly, she used almost the entire speech to criticize his behavior and policies. She also called on Hollywood to stand strong against any attacks and to support a free press.
Which are not the arts. But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence.
Well, moving on now, former Iranian President Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani died on Sunday at the age of 82. His death is seen as a big blow to moderates and reformists deprived now of their most influential supporter in the Islamic establishment. Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani, the former Iranian president, died on Sunday aged 82. He has been described as a pillar of the Islamic revolution. His pragmatic policies, economic liberalization, better relations with the West and empowering elected bodies appealed to many Iranians but were despised by hardliners. Few have wielded such influence in modern Iran, but since 2009, Rafsanjani and his family faced political isolation over their support for the opposition movement, which lost a disputed election that year to President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Senior Iranian officials and figures, as well as relatives of Rafsanjani, visited a mosque where his coffin was brought for final prayers at Jamaran Prayer Hall, the famous residence of the founder of the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini.
به حالشون بد شد، به بیمارستان منتقل شدن. اونجا یه تیم پزشکی سعی کردن که احیا کنن، متاسفانه نتونستن احیا بکنن.
یعنی این مدتی که ما در کنار ایشون بودیم همیشه به فکر مردم بود. مردم الان محبت دارن. منم شرایط روحیم یک حالت ناباوریه الان اینجا خدمت شما هستم.
Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif held back tears as he paid tribute to the former president.
یکی از بزرگترین استوانه‌های انقلاب، یار امام، یار حضرت رهبری از دست ما رفت.
A crowd of supporters also gathered to mourn the death of Rafsanjani.
بسیار متاسف شدم. من لحظات ابتدایی به واسطه شبکه‌های اجتماعی متوجه شدم و خیلی ناراحت متأثر هستم. میرفتم منزل و گفتم که حالا در جمع مردم حضور داشته باشم.
Rafsanjani headed the Expediency Council, a body which is intended to resolve disputes between the Parliament and the Guardian Council. He was also a member of the Assembly of Experts, the clerical body that selects the supreme leader, Iran's most powerful figure. His death ahead of May's presidential elections is a blow to moderate President Hassan Rouhani, who allied himself with Rafsanjani to win the 2013 election and went on to resolve Iran's long standoff with the West on the nuclear program. Rafsanjani's funeral will be held in Tehran on Tuesday. Iran has announced 3 days of mourning, including a public holiday on Tuesday for Rafsanjani, who was president from 1989 to 1997. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Meanwhile, cold weather has gripped much of Europe amid icy temperatures from Poland to Turkey. 20 deaths have been reported as a result of the freezing weather conditions. Italy saw ferries and flights cancelled and schools in the south are closed today. Airports in Sicily, Bari and Brindisi closed on Saturday. Rome too was freezing with below freezing temperatures. Turkey has also been badly affected. In Poland, at least 12 people have reportedly died in the past couple of days following a brutal cold snap that saw temperatures fall to minus 14 degrees Celsius. Night temperatures in Russia plunged to minus 30 degrees Celsius. The country experienced its coldest Christmas in 120 years. Normally milder, Greece has witnessed temperatures of minus 15 degrees Celsius in the north, where one person died of cold last week and roads were closed. In Athens, the temperature failed to rise above freezing limits and several of the islands were covered in snow. However, no respite is in the offing. Cold weather is expected to continue in much of Europe.
Η κατάσταση είναι δύσκολη, χιόνια πολλά, όλη νύχτα περάσαμε δύσκολη βραδιά. Ευτυχώς έχουμε τη βοήθεια και του ΣΠΑΠ που έχουμε μισθώσει μηχανήματα και του Δήμου τα μηχανήματα και έχουμε τους δρόμους ανοιχτούς και δεν υπάρχουν προβλήματα, αλλά το χιόνι είναι πολύ.
Η δρόμοι είναι ανοιχτή.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. A UN human rights envoy Yang Hee Lee has arrived in Myanmar on a 12-day visit amid growing concerns about reports of abuse of members of the Rohingya Muslim minority in the country. However, the Myanmar government denies the accusations and insists a lawful counter-insurgency operation is underway. Since last year, at least 86 people have been killed and the United Nations says about 34,000 civilians have fled across the border to Bangladesh. The Islamabad Supreme Court has directed Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's family to explain contradiction in statements to defend itself in the Panama Papers leak. However, the Prime Minister has denied any wrongdoing and rejected the charges of illegal transfer of any money from Pakistan. Justice Asif Saeed Khosa is heading a 5-judge bench of the Apex Court, hearing the petitions in the Panama Gate case. A US think tank says US bombings dropped to a record low in Pakistan in 2016. United States airstrikes were conducted in 7 countries throughout the year, although the majority of these occurred in Syria and Iraq. The number of US airstrikes in Afghanistan also increased in 2016 to a total of 1,337. At least 4 inmates have been killed in a prison in the Brazilian city of Manaus. This has sent the number of violent prison fatalities to over 100 in just 1 week. Widespread massacres, including decapitations and disembowelling, have occurred as rival drug gangs clash in vastly overcrowded facilities. Well, here's a roundup of some sports news now in Sports Beat. Rohan Bopanna and his partner G1 won the men's doubles title at the Chennai Open after defeating compatriots Purav Raja and Divij Sharan 6-3, 6-4 in the summit clash on Sunday. It was the first time in the ATP event's 22-year existence that 4 Indians featured in the finals. In singles, Spain's number 2 seed Roberto Bautista won the title with a straight set 6-3, 6-4 win over Russia's Daniil Medvedev. Novak Djokovic withstood the comeback from world number 1 Andy Murray to defend his Qatar Open title. The Serb, world number 2, ended Murray's winning streak of 28 consecutive ATP Tour matches with a 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 victory. Both players now head to Melbourne for the Australian Open, the year's first Grand Slam, which starts on the 16th of January. Lionel Messi scored a sublime last-minute free kick to salvage a point for Barcelona against Villarreal. Barca went a goal down in the 49th minute and seemed heading for defeat before Messi's free kick saved the Catalans from defeat. The result leaves Barca in 3rd place, 5 points behind leaders Real Madrid, who have a game in hand. Italian champions and table toppers Juventus set a new Serie A record of 26 consecutive home wins with a 3-0 victory over Bologna. Gonzalo Higuain scored twice, while Paulo Dybala scored through a penalty. Juventus, who are aiming for a second 6th straight league title, are at the top with 45 points and have a game in hand. Well, that's it on this edition of the Newscast. Have a good evening.